Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bob Stoops app. I'm Brad McMullen, along with Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops, who joins us on the phone in Florida. Coach, it's the national championship game. It's number 1 Michigan versus number 2 Washington, a battle between two undefeated teams that have both played extremely well this season. Michigan favored by 5.5 points. Coach, who do you like in this contest and why?
Yeah, hello, Brad. Good to be with you, and Happy New Year to everybody out there. And I think it's going to be a heck of a game. Two undefeated teams, and I really, if anybody, I think two things. Michigan, I feel, is the better overall team. Physical, defense is a little bit better. The defense, I think, wins it for them. But what you guard against is Washington is one of those teams that I feel they just got a magical year going. Kind of like OU did in 2000, my second year here at Oklahoma. We had this feeling being undefeated that we couldn't be beat, and we didn't care who we were going to play. So I know Washington's going into it with that feeling, but I do believe Michigan, having been there 3 times, they finally broke through, beat Alabama, and I believe that they're destined too. And there's an old saying in the boxing world: a hungry man is a dangerous man, and sometimes a guy's belly can get full. Well, I don't think Michigan's belly's full is what I'm getting at. They're dangerous as well because they're hungry. They've been there and looked at that championship 2 other times, and here it is, their 3rd time going for it, and I think they're good enough to get it. How physical they are, the run game, the defense is better. Washington's dangerous, the way they can throw the football. I get that, and Penix, the way he's played, has been marvelous, but I'd go with Michigan in it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Coach. I think from top to bottom, Michigan's just a better football team. They've recruited better over the last 5 years. But that thing you discussed, just finding a way to get it done. Washington's been an underdog 4 times this year. They found a way to win each of those football games. Everyone was ready for them to lose to Oregon the first time. They were ready for them to lose to Oregon the second time. They were ready for them to lose to Texas. And finding a way to get it done is what Michael Penix has done. And comparing them to that 2000 team, another left-handed quarterback in Josh Heupel, Michael Penix finds a way to get the job done. And what I really enjoyed about him in this last game was how he showed that element of running the football, which he really hadn't done since he was at Indiana when he beat Penn State. Remember in that 2020 game where he dove into the end zone for the pylon?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just think that everybody wins tonight in watching this game. But I agree with you. I think the edge goes to Michigan because of talent. But I will not be surprised if Washington wins the game.
Well, like I said, me either, because of what we just talked about. Penix has that ability. He's been absolutely sensational. The receivers are fantastic. They can make big plays, and if they do it, that's how they'll do it, making some big plays. And again, they have that belief. When you're undefeated and you come out of nowhere, we talked about it just a little bit ago, you have this feeling that you can't lose. And I remember what that feeling was like.
Yeah, and I think that Washington beat the better team in the semifinals. I think that Texas was a better team than Alabama. They played, earlier in the year at Alabama. Texas beat Alabama. Washington showing they're a very good football team. And when they had to come up with the play at the end to stop the Longhorns, they were able to do that. Likewise, Michigan, which down most of the game against Alabama, found a way to win. They kept their composure. And when they needed to make the plays and they needed to have that long drive, McCarthy was there, and they didn't make mistakes to put themselves in a bad situation.
And you make some great points there about, I believe Washington did beat the better team in the playoff, definitely. And but I also like the fact that Jim Harbaugh's aggressiveness in that game behind 3.5 minutes to go, he goes for it on 4th and 2 in his own territory with 3 timeouts, 3.5 minutes. So the conservative thing would have been punt the ball away, get it back, with those timeouts. But he went for it, and got it. And then that led to the touchdown drive.
Agreed.
But being aggressive, I think both coaches will be that tonight.
I agree. So we both like Michigan to win the game. What about this 5.5 point spread? Do you like Washington to cover?
Well, you know what? They've been so strong and so good overall that, I'm going to say it's going to be closer than that. But I still think Michigan wins.
I agree with you on both counts. All right, some big news with you, Coach. The XFL is now the UFL. You're still going to be with Arlington as the defending champions. Kind of talk about the merger and your excitement towards this season.
Yeah, so the XFL is bringing 4 teams. 4 of our teams from the XFL are going to merge with 4 teams from the USFL and form the United Football League, the UFL overall. The division names will be, one division will be the XFL division, which will be in Arlington, and the other will be the USFL division, the other 4 teams. We're going to all kind of be in a hub in Arlington like we did a year ago in the XFL. We're going to travel to home venues for games. So a lot of that will be similar. The structure will be similar to what we did in the XFL a year ago. So we played the first game against the Birmingham team that USFL champions the last 2 years in a row, and Skip Holtz is their head coach. So we play the first game in Arlington March 30th. So Saturday, March 30th. So it's all coming here in a few months.
Will there be another draft this year like there was last year?
Yes, we just had a draft of the players that were not, of the teams that were eliminated just a few days ago. But we're going to have a couple more drafts leading up to the season as players come available, whether they be released or, don't get signed to futures contracts with NFL teams, those kind of things. So we'll have a couple more supplemental drafts, and we also were able to protect 42 of our players from a year that we kept on from our team a year ago.
That's great.
So we also have a good part of those guys still coming back.
And the great success is everybody wins in this. You had over 50 players in the league get the opportunity to make an NFL roster. And then you've also got football fans that get to see football in the spring.
Absolutely. It's these guys really love the game. That's why they're still playing it. There's a lot of great talent out there. As you said, these are guys that are just on the fringes of the NFL that have been released or, have played a couple, 3, 4 years and just got released, those kind of things. So there are a lot of really talented players and really fun to coach them and fun to watch.
And speaking of the NFL, 2 former players have been red hot over the last few months, Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield, 2 former Heisman Trophy winners. Kyler's season ended yesterday with a 1-point loss. You got to be so proud of how he's bounced back from his injury. And Baker Mayfield, division champion. And we've talked about these numbers, how he's in the top 10 in almost every single category. And his numbers are very comparable and even better in a lot of categories with Tom Brady when he led him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, really excited for all these guys. Love watching all our players play. But at quarterback position there, it's so important. It's really fun to watch guys you're close to and perform well. It is great that Kyler's come back the way he has and shown no signs of course, of letting up, and he just looked great, and that bodes well for his future and what's coming, in the coming years. And then, sure, Baker, what he's doing right now, no surprise to me. You just give him half a chance, a healthy body, and anybody around him that can play a little bit, he's going to have success. And happy for him, happy for Tampa. And they've got a chance now, and let's see where they go with it. And always rooting for Jalen Hurts too, an incredible guy. And they've had a little tougher time this year, but I wouldn't count them out. That's for sure.
Amen. And hopefully he'll be healthy when he is playing in this ball game as well. And again, a lot of exciting things to go on. And you talk about Baker. the challenges that this guy has had with so many different offensive coordinators, so many different head coaches, so many different teams, to still be so consistent and so strong and be able to come up big when it mattered most.
Yeah, that's the truth. He has had, you could count up the number of offensive coordinators he's been through that he's had to work with. And, just the overall consistency. The only really tough year that, things didn't work out very well, he was injured.
He was injured the whole year.
Half of the year when he fought through it and still tried to play with the Browns. And other than that, the guy's found success. He's a great teammate. He's incredibly smart. That speaks to why he's been able to handle, 4, 5, 6 offensive coordinators. The guy's brilliant, actually, can pick up anything. And so anyway, I'm just excited to see him play here in the playoffs, and hopefully that goes well. But it's been great to see him have this success this year when he had to have it.
And speaking of success, we'll end our final topic. Oklahoma Sooners, 10 wins in the second year of Brent Venables' era as they prepare for the SEC. The next time we'll see the Oklahoma Sooners on the football field, they'll be a member of the Southeastern Conference. Coach, your takeaways from the bowl game with 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Oklahoma up by double digits, looked really in cruise control, but the turnovers just killed him in that game.
That's exactly right. You're not going to turn the ball over, 6 times and win, and some for touchdowns, and that was it. That was really the backbreaker. We're up, going in to score, to go up, I guess 13 at the time, or 14, whatever it was, or at least get a field goal, and we have the ball, just tipped and up in the air and return for a touchdown. And that just flipped everything, and I'll say this, it's always tough to gauge with the number of players that were out. I thought all the replacements in the O-line had to have done a good job because we ran the ball for over 200 yards and threw for over 340 or something. So that's a heck of a day. Without, you're not going to turn it over 6 times and win, but we might have been able to win with 4 turnovers, truth be told, other than the ones late. But so point being, I think also we're going to really benefit next year from all that practice time with Jackson Arnold being in there, and that game, him learning through that game will benefit OU and Jackson Arnold next year, and I believe that'll make a big difference.
Yeah, I think he's a special player, and you can't say this enough about the recruiting that Coach Venables and his staff have done over the last 2 years. And now with the transfer portal, an opportunity to get some more experienced players to join roster for Team 130 for this fall.
Yeah, they do an incredible job recruiting, getting the right guys, and so I'm excited to see what the new year brings, and looking forward to it, really. But I love what Brett stands for, everything that he's doing, how hard he works, and I believe all that great work will pay off as these years come.
Boy, it's going to be fun for college football fans to watch the national championship game tonight. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, Brad, thanks. Good to be with you. Boomer Sooner to everybody.
Boomer Sooner. Remember, for videos anytime, just tap on our video link. For Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops, I'm Brad McMullen.